In today's lesson, we're going to look at Chapter 1, Section 7. In your textbook, it labels it as Compute with Scientific Notation. However, we're only going to focus on multiplying and dividing and not the adding or subtracting. So we're going to label it Multiplying and Dividing with Scientific Notation. And let's go to the next page on the right, page 75. So on page 75, let's begin with how to multiply with scientific notation. So if we're multiplying, I'm going to use these parentheses because remember, we don't use an X for times, but it is part of our scientific notation and how we write that. So we have 8.4 times 10 to the second times 2.5 times 10 to the 6. What you're going to do is multiply these numbers and then multiply the powers. So if in your notes here, we talk about multiplying powers, multiplying monomials on page 63. So you're going to multiply the numbers, multiply the powers, go back to 63 if you need to, and then just make sure it's in scientific notation. So let's go ahead. You're going to multiply these numbers, still stays in scientific notation form, and then multiply the powers. Well, here you can multiply it out or even just use a calculator. And when we multiply powers, remember you keep the base and add the exponents. 2 plus 6 is 8. However, this is not scientific notation. Remember that the first digit needs to be between 1 but less than 10. This is not less than 10. Let's write it as a number less than 10, 2.1. However, it's no longer times 10 to the 8th. So this is the part where you really just need to stop and think. Right now, after the number 21, the decimal is right here. This says we should move the decimal 8 places to the right because it's positive. So if I go 8 places to the right, it would go that way. However, we just moved our decimal 1 place to the left. It doesn't have 8 places to go anymore. How many do you think it would have? So let's think. If I have to go 8 places to the right, I'm the decimal, I'm pointing at the decimal right here, and I have to go 8 places to the right. But now you move the decimal 1 place to the left, so it's 2.1. It no longer has 8 places. It has to go 1 to get back here plus the 8. So that makes 9 places out. Again, if your decimal's right here and it has to go 8 places to the right, you put your decimal here, it has to go 1 to where it's supposed to be, right here, plus the original 8. That makes 9. So you just have to slow down and think, which way is my decimal supposed to go, and where did I move it? How many places does it have less or more to travel? Let's look at another example to help. Let's look at dividing scientific notation. So this is just like multiplying, and you're going to divide the numbers, divide the powers, and this is on page 65 in your notes, and then write it in scientific notation. So the process is the same. So here I have, with my fraction bar means divide, 7.5 times 10 to the 9th divided by 2.5 times 10 to the 7th. So divide the numbers, divide the powers. That means divide these numbers, keep the scientific notation form, divide 10 to the 9th, divide by 10 to the 7th. So again, you can just divide it out or use a calculator, keep the scientific notation form, and here, remember when you divide, you keep the base and subtract the exponents going down. 9 minus 7 is 2. Well, this is in scientific notation because this number is between 1 but less than 10. Let's continue practicing this concept. Go to the left-hand page 74, and on the left-hand page, go ahead and try these problems here. Pause this video at this point, work through these 2 multiplication and 2 division problems. So if you have not paused the video yet, please do so now. And if you have worked through the problems, let's take a look at the answers. Here are the multiplication problems. Remember to multiply the numbers, multiply the powers. I'm going to zoom into number 2 for an explanation. So number 2, I have 81.9 times 10 to the negative third. So my decimal is here, and the negative tells me to go to the left, and then 3 places. Well, put it in scientific notation, a number between 1 but less than 10, I've already gone 1 place to the left. That means we only have 2 steps left to take, and it's to the left still. So because I've already gone in that direction 1 time, I only have 2 steps left, 1 fewer to the left. That's why it's negative 2. So let's look at number 3 and 4, dividing. And again, you would divide the numbers, divide the powers. This is scientific notation, but what happened here? Let's zoom into number 4. So on number 4, divide the numbers, get this, divide the powers, I keep the base and subtract the exponents. It should be 6 minus negative 6. But the rule is keep, change for subtraction, so it really turns into 6 plus 6, or 12. This is not scientific notation though, again because we want a number between 1 and less than 10. So we would move this to the right to get 2.375. This exponent tells us we should be going to the right 12 places. We've already gone to the right 1 time. That's 1 less step to the right. So 1 less than 12 is 11. Let's practice writing in scientific notation. Here are 2 numbers that are not the proper form. Pause this video right here, please, and practice these. If you have not already, please hit pause, go through, and then check your answers. The correct responses should be these. And the reason, right here, we're supposed to go 2 to the left, but we actually moved 3 to the right. Well, that's away from where we want to go. We still need to go those 3 to back to the original plus the original 2. So when we add on 3 more steps, we get negative 5, because if I put the decimal right here, it should go 3 plus the original 2 that we were told. And in number 6, it says times 10 to the 4th, but putting this in scientific notation, this is a number greater than 1 but less than 10. I need to go 1, 2, 3 plus the original 4 that tells me to go this way. That's why we have an exponent of 7.